And welcome, Kerrnel. Gotta love 1.4. Tree growing out in the middle of the sky. Alright, so this is our new island home looking thing. And I did a little boat ride around. And there's another one of these little oil or whatever it is kind of doohickey mabobs. A little bit down that way. And over this way, on the other side of those trees, is a huge, it's not a desert, but there's lots of sand, and you can see that kind of ice mountain in the background there. So that ice mountain goes all the way around and butts up against the swamp island, or the swamp area where we spawned. So we're kind of surrounded, and there's lots of sand. I could have all the glass that I could possibly care for. And it looks like there's a lot of sources of oil, and I believe the oil is used in one of the other mod packs that I'm not going to be focusing on for a while. So I will leave that resource as it is, and we'll come back to our little cove. Kerrnel Cove is what I'm going to call it. In fact, one of the things, a new thing that I have discovered about Feed the Beast are waypoints, and I'm gonna set one right now. And for those of you using this for the first time, you hit M for the mini map options, and these are the controls. So you can hit M for the menu and B to set a waypoint. You can toggle a full screen map, and I'm going to do that in a second so I can show you the area that we're in, and you can zoom in and zoom out, and you can turn mobs on and off. I'm going to leave them on because I'm super paranoid. All sorts of other options. I'm not even going to go into them because I don't understand half of them. So this is the map, and this is the, I think there's one more zoom level below that. 0.5. There we go. So this is the map, and it looks like this is a pretty big biome. And if I'm not mistaken, in the bottom right corner there is a village, which is kind of cool. And obviously the murky looking stuff that we're in is the water, and all that green is the land that I have been looking for. And it looks like on the north side is all of that snow area where the mountains are. So just a little bit of an overview. So let's set our waypoint. And we're going to call this Kerrnel's Cove. Whoa, that's a lot of different colors. Well, since I love the Crimson Tide of Alabama, I'm going to select something, well, that's a little dark. That's a little light. That's a little dark. I'll never be satisfied. Alright, that's close enough. Done. Waypoint set. Kerrnel's Cove. Beautiful. Okay, so I also did a little bit of looking around, and I found this really interesting little structure, and I think at some point that is what I'm going to make my home. And it is this area here. And it just looks pretty darn cool. I have no idea what to possibly do with it, but I'm willing to take it on. Got this huge opening here. I can see a glass floor. Great. It's just scenic, and you can build all sorts of crap into this wall. I'm sure this wasn't intended, but this is kind of neat too. Dig some of this out. Got some coal. I like it. I like it. But we're not going to get there yet. We are not going to get there yet. It's going to be a while, and I still need to explore the rest of this place. There's a nice little nook there. Some cows. We'll have to set up a farm at some point so we have a stable source of food. And I will also grab some of those reeds down there that we saw when we opened up the episode. But not right now. I don't think I need them at this point. So until then, I think this little nook here is going to serve well as our first little organizing area. And there's a tree back here. I haven't even been back there to see what's back there. So I'm going to kind of carve this out a little bit just to make it a little homier and set things up, get the furnace set up, get the workbench set up, get a chest set up, and then I'm going to start collecting resources. So I will do that, and before I head out I will come back and show you what we've done. Okay, we're trying to clean this place out a bit and organize things a little better, and I've dug this area out, and this will kind of be a storage area for now until we figure out what we're going to do way over there in that mountain little alcove area. So I've got a chest here, just throwing some miscellaneous stuff in. Got some flint. I found some gravel, and I usually don't pay too much attention to gravel because, quite frankly, it's not of much use. On my vanilla world, I've got a mob spawner that I can get all the arrows that I need, and beyond that, gravel doesn't really provide much of a use. However, for the macerator that I'd like to build at some point to kind of get me started, and what the macerator does, I believe, is it grinds down some of your ores so that you actually get more out of them. So the flint is used in the macerator. So flint is becoming a little more important in Feed the Beast. So I'm going to use that. And while I'm on the inventory screen, I'm going to do some changing here. A lot of these options in the top left here allow you to kind of do creative mode things, and I don't have creative mode enabled, and I don't really want to see these, so I'm going to try and turn these off, and I'm also going to try and turn off this inventory thing. So let's go into the options, and I believe the NEI is, I call it never ending inventory, but I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I believe disabling that, yeah, turns all that stuff off. Actually, I thought there was more than one step, so that worked out very well. You can also do some really neat things with your inventory if you want to do sorting in any way, change the sorting that's in the chest. I'm going to leave it the way I like, kind of the way that I organize things when I do organize things. You can also sort in columns. I believe this kind of groups them together. Actually, I don't have too many in here, so why don't I try doing that? I don't know what that didn't do much different. So I guess it takes them, I don't know, I guess I probably need to have more things. It does look like it groups them together, and because there's enough unique items, it'll try and do that. Maybe it's treating them as individual chests because I've got two chests together as a large one. So maybe they're treating them as two separate chests. This will be interesting to play around with as I get more items, and I'm just going to leave it like that. So at some point I'll probably go back with the gravel, depending on how much flint I need, and re-dig a lot of this stuff and replant it the way you would normally do that. I managed to get some seeds, so I'll show you what I've kind of done in the back. Obviously I've got furnaces here, and in the back here I don't know what I'm going to do with these areas. That tree trunk there, this is the surface, and I don't know what I want to do here. And I may never do anything here, I don't know. So I've got this area here. The intention of this area was actually to plant some things, but I may not do that. I may do that outside. And down here, I started digging, and I really don't know what I want to do here. I may make it a tiered kind of different farms on different levels. I'm not sure. But I do know what I want to do here, and that is to set up a mine. So I'm going to need to get down and find some more coal and all of the other resources that I'm going to need. So I talked in the first episode, and I think I mentioned in this one, that I want to do a lot of work with industrial craft and set things up so that I get the generator working, so that I can get power from coal or from lava or any of those power sources. And that will power the macerator, which will increase the efficiency with which I get ore, and also the electric furnace, which will increase the amount of things that I'm able to smelt. They'll be able to do them quicker and cost less energy. To create a bat box, which allows you to store the energy that you're generating, and to possibly, I'm not sure how soon that'll be, but to get the extractor going as well. My priorities right now are for the generator and the macerator. So those are going to be the things I'm going to be focusing on. And a lot of that, the resources that are tied up with those are going to be tin, copper, redstone, flint, as I mentioned earlier, cobblestone, which is everywhere, and machine circuits, which is kind of an amalgam of all of those, RE batteries, and refined iron. So I'm going to need to find some iron, copper, tin, redstone, all that stuff, and the only way to do that is to dig. So that's what I'm going to do. I hear you. You can go away. So I'm going to dig down this way. This will be the entrance to my mine, and hopefully I will be able to find most of the ores that I'm looking for. But most importantly, oh, look at that already. Most importantly, find some more coal, because I'm going to need to light a lot of this place up. And I think I've only got 14 coal left, so that'll last me for a bit. But it won't last me for long. So I'm going to continue digging down. And what is this ore? With this texture pack, so this is copper. Copper and iron are very similar looking. I didn't want to go with the Minecraft default texture pack because, well, I don't like it. I prefer this one. I prefer something a little fancy. I used the John Smith one in my vanilla Minecraft, but it's the one that I'm using there is one that Monkey Farm, and if you haven't seen any of his, oh, interesting thing to point out. So you saw that my axe broke, and if you notice down in the second slot, I still have my axe. In Feed the Beast, there is an option that allows you, where is it? Controls, nope. Plugin options. Nope. Nope. Where was it? Nuts. I saw it yesterday. I can't. Oh, there it is. Okay, so let me go back there. So there's this little ellipse thing. If you click on this, it'll bring up some additional options, and so you can have a sort key set, you can have shortcuts set, repair friendly. So this what this will do is if you have a tool, well, obviously you can read, it replaces a tool just before they break. So if it's, you know, within a couple of ticks of breaking, then it will replace the tool so that if you want to repair it, you can. Auto refill is what just happened. So if a tool breaks, it will automatically put a new one in its place as long as it's the same type. So if your stone axe broke, it's not going to replace your stone axe with your iron axe. So if you have 3 or 4 stone axes on you, then it's going to replace the stone axe that broke with a stone axe. So it's really kind of cool. I'm still not used to it because every time it happens to me, I automatically hit my inventory so that I can switch it out, but I don't have to do that. And you can sort using your middle click. A bunch of other things that I haven't really explored, but that one's a cool one. Auto refill on. So as I was saying, this texture pack, I like using the John Smith one in vanilla, and I think these are iron, aren't they? No, they're still copper. But the texture pack that I was using was one that Monkey Farm is keeping up, because I don't think John Smith does development anymore for his texture pack. As long as he's got credit, he's happy with other people continuing work on it. So Monkey Farm has done a lot of great updates. He's got a great subscription. If you follow him on YouTube, I've been following him since I started, and a lot of his videos are very easy to follow, and he does some really cool stuff in them. So if you get a chance to check him out, I highly encourage you to do so. But one of the things that is, I guess, a condition, unless you want to change it, of using his texture pack is that he's got this pet pig called Bilbo. And that pig is a walking advertisement for Monkey Farm, which is great. I use it all the time, but I'm doing a Let's Play of my own. So I don't really want to be, not that I have any issues with advertising somebody else's thing, because I just pointed you there, but just wouldn't seem right to have my own Let's Play and have that in your face all the time. So I'm not using that texture pack as much as I like it. So when I loaded this up, Feed the Beast, I noticed that the texture pack that was included with it had the 64-bit or 64 by 64 texture pack called Soartex, and I had seen it around, and I never got around to downloading it. I'm not sure why. I think just because I like the John Smith texture pack, so that's the one I settled on. But this, I like this texture pack. It's clean, you know. It doesn't have a lot of too many weird, funky things going on, and no, I like it. I may actually look for it for my vanilla, but I'm not sure about that. I think I like having the two different texture packs separate. Now, I'm collecting a lot of these ores, and I have no idea what half of them do. And I'm sure that half of them, or most of them, are probably going to be unrelated to the direction that I want to go in Feed the Beast. So I may show, well, actually, you know what, let me do that now. I will show. So this is a monazite ore, and I assume I'm pronouncing it right. It's the way I'm pronouncing it, so it must be right. Copper obviously is one that we're going to need. Monazite, I have no idea if we're going to need it. I'm going to store it, and I'm going to store all of the ore that I collect, because I don't want to go looking for them again. But in the meantime, I'm just going to dig up everything that I see that is nice and shiny. Hopefully it'll save me some time later, even if it costs me a few picks. Oh, what do we have here? I don't know if those guys are from there or if they're from here. Well, only one way to find out. Alright, I think I'm gonna dig down here. Oh, so it does end. Alright. So I'm at level 52. Still got a long way to go if I want to get to the diamond level, but I'm not overly concerned with getting there too quickly because I am looking for coal. So this looks like an interesting cave. These guys are cool. I killed a lot of them in my test world, and they drop kind of hairy brains, or I'm not sure what they're called, but they drop brains. Thankfully, they're not my brains, but they do drop brains. And I guess they're used in some sort of recipe. I just don't know what the recipe is. Okay, so this is oil, crude oil, and I believe this is used in Traincraft mod. And the Traincraft mod allows you to do like combustible engines, if I pronounce that right. Combustible. It allows you to do stuff like that, and steam engines, and harness energy in a different way than some of the other mods. So it's kind of cool. I probably won't be getting there as much as I'd like to build a railroad that goes somewhere, but I don't think, and I probably will get around to it, but my initial, it's not on my list of things to do, at least in Season 1. Unless somebody can come up with a compelling reason why it's a better way to harness the energy than industrial craft or any of the other ones that I've talked about up to this point. What would be really great is if I could find a skeleton spawner. Ooh. I think this is iron. It is beautiful. You beautiful, beautiful iron. I can't remember what the thought I had was. Well, if it's important, I'll come back to it. So rather than bore you completely out of your minds, I think what I will do is continue to gather resources, and when I find something a little more interesting, I'll come back. Maybe do an overview of some of the things that you collect, because there's a ton of resources that you can mine in Feed the Beast because of all the mod packs, and each mod pack seems to have, you know, ores that are specifically geared for it, although I think a lot of them do share some of the ores, so there's a lot of cool things out there. These things here, if you jump on them, they hurt. So be careful of those. They kind of screwed me up when I first found them, and I thought they were little silverfish, but after I got down half health, I figured out what it was. So be careful of those shards. I think this is gold. What is this? This is an air shard, and I think this might be related to the magic pack. I think it's Thaumcraft. So here's some more oil. I probably don't need the oil, the crude oil, because there's the oil slicks, I think, out in the water, but I'll collect them anyway, and we'll figure out what they do later. So I'm going to continue mining, and we'll touch back with you when I've got something a little more interesting for you to watch. Alright, we're back. We're running a little long on the episode. I'd like to keep them between 20 and 25 minutes. But I wanted to show you a couple of interesting things before we headed out. And this is the first of them. So I have never seen a marble block, and I guess they have them now in 1.4, or at least part of this Feed the Beast pack marble, which is kind of cool. This little area has got a ton of resources. We've got, I believe that's tin or aluminum, one of the two. Lots of coal. This would be, I believe, some iron. Yeah, that might be copper actually. And you notice that when you put a torch in, this gets really bright. So that's kind of neat. It's a little 3-zone little. There is some iron there. Some underground water, which is kind of neat. And I'll show you. I had mentioned in the first episode that I wanted to get into some of the hives with the forestry mod, and I probably won't get to this anytime soon, but there is a hive. I don't know what kind of hive it is. I don't know if I'm in danger or if I need to do something to activate it, or I know nothing about them, but I will find out at some point. Probably between now and the next episode what I need to do, but I will probably not come back to this for a while unless there's some significant value in doing that. So I've explored the cave that was really to the bottom, that came out at the bottom of the stairway, with the exception of this part up here, and I will tackle that between now and the next episode. But until then, I'll try and compress these episodes a little more so that it's a little more interesting. Hopefully, as I get more resources and have a little more interesting things to show you, hopefully we'll find a spawner. That'll be interesting. But until then, take care, and hopefully we will see you in the next episode.